Hi, my name is Nikki, and I have been vegetarian for my whole life. I wrote a speech for a speech and debate competition that I went to about vegetarianism, and a lot of people actually told me that after hearing my speech, they were convinced to become vegetarian for at least 1 or 2 days a week or for a couple weeks every month. And so I'd like to share it with you now. Renowned physicist Albert Einstein once said, "Nothing will benefit human health and increase the chances for survival on Earth as much as the evolution to a vegetarian diet." When I was younger, people would think I was strange because I did not eat meat. Many of these people, however, do not now realize the benefits of vegetarianism. A growing number of people around the world are becoming vegetarian, and for good reason. According to GoVeg.com, every year 27 billion animals are killed for food in the United States, the equivalent of 857 animals every second. To stop this senseless killing, choose the vegetarian path of life. To be vegetarian is, put simply, to not eat meat. Even though there are different types of vegetarians, they are all saving the world. Meat eating has become a pandemic, as it continues to harm animals, the people who eat it, and the environment. Some people say they eat meat because their bodies possess the mechanisms to digest it. They say their teeth are made for eating meat and plants. Others say meat provides necessary protein. Still others claim that they are used to it or that it tastes good. Kids may want to eat meat because their friends do. In each case, however, people do not realize that what they are eating was once a living, breathing animal. Despite common belief, research has found that humans are not, in fact, physiologically designed to eat meat. Dr. William C. Roberts presents the argument that human teeth are shaped like those of herbivores, not omnivores. He says, "When we kill animals for food, they end up killing us, because the large amounts of saturated fat and cholesterol present were never intended for humans, who are natural herbivores. Humans were made with molars and sideways moving jaws, like herbivores. These are not present in carnivores and omnivores, as their teeth were designed for tearing flesh." Renowned anthropologist Richard Leakey argues that human hands were not made to tear hide or flesh, stomach acidity is too weak, and the intestinal tract is way too long to digest meat effectively. Although those who say meat provides necessary protein are right, vegetarian food also provides adequate nutrition through beans, nuts, and lentils, all of which are recommended by the Food and Drug Administration. Dr. T. Colin Campbell, director of the Cornell China-Oxford Project on Nutrition, Health, and the Environment, predicts, "In the next 10 years, one of the things you're bound to hear is that animal protein is one of the most toxic of all nutrients that can be considered." Most people do not know that Americans and Europeans actually eat twice as much protein as recommended by the World Health Organization. Many Olympic champions, including Edwin Moses and Leroy Burrell, are vegetarians, and their high levels of athletic success indicates that they are getting adequate nutrition through a vegetarian diet. Some people say they eat meat because they have done so for a long time, or because it tastes good. They are giving the same reasons as those who smoke, or drink, or do drugs. Although changing habits may be difficult, the benefits of doing so will exceed whatever difficulty you may have. Yet it is never too late to change. People may want to eat meat because everyone else, according to the media, does. I know an adult who, as a child, was raised vegetarian, but when he saw other children with Happy Meals, he wanted one too. His father took him to a slaughterhouse and told him, "This is where your Happy Meals come from." In fact, Jeffrey Giuliano, the main Ronald McDonald actor in the 1980s, quit his job and made a public apology in which he stated, "I brainwashed youngsters into doing wrong. I want to apologize to children everywhere for selling out to concerns who make millions by murdering animals." Those who do not mind eating slaughtered animals may reconsider their habits once they are educated about the harms of eating meat and the benefits of vegetarianism. Eating meat comes with a price to animals being raised to be killed for food. They are subjected to gruesome conditions. Chickens are bred and fed drugs which cause them to grow at such speeds that the rest of their bodies cannot keep up. For example, Their legs are unable to support them and break under the weight of the body. 6 to 7 hens, which lay eggs, are stuck into a crate the size of a file drawer. Approximately 280 million hens in the United States endure such conditions. Turkeys' beaks and toes are cut off with a hot blade, feathers burned off, and their throats are cut, all while they are still alive. Cattle for beef are castrated, given third-degree burns, and have their horns yanked out of their heads, all without painkillers. Pigs are placed in crates so small that moving around causes open sores to develop over their bodies. Fish in aqua farms are cramped in filthy enclosures such that 40% of the fish may die before they are packaged for food. As a result of the disgusting conditions in which animals are raised, as well as due to the large amounts of saturated fat, cholesterol, and other contaminants present, eating meat severely damages your health. Meat consumption has been linked to type 2 diabetes, Alzheimer's, asthma, osteoporosis, and high blood cholesterol and blood pressure levels. Eating meat has obviously been linked to contracting diseases related to the consumption of animals, such as mad cow disease and salmonella. The total direct medical costs in the United States attributable to meat consumption were estimated to be up to $60 billion a year. The over 2,700 drugs fed to animals are still present in the meat and can cause colorectal, thyroid, bone, epidermal, and breast cancer to develop. Meat eating also takes its toll on the environment. A 2009 United Nations report discovered that the meat industry produces 51% of all greenhouse gas emissions, more than all of the other sources combined. Researchers at the University of Chicago discovered that eating a vegetarian diet prevents the equivalent of 1.5 tons of CO2 per year. The meat industry also wastes countless acres of land. 290 million acres of forest are destroyed each year to grow crops to feed the 850 million chickens killed only by KFC. It takes 16 pounds of grain to produce 1 pound of animal flesh, an extremely inefficient process. If a fraction of this land was used to grow crops to feed the needy in third world countries, world hunger would no longer be as mounting of a problem. Deforestation, wasted land, water, and air pollution are all ecological disasters attributed to the meat industry. But how can one stop all of these horrible problems from occurring? The solution is simple. Choose vegetarian alternatives. Lower your intake of meat. Or even better, quit altogether. The choice to become vegetarian is a win-win-win situation. For the animals, for yourself, and for the environment. As a vegetarian, you will save 100 animals each year. That is 100 fewer animals being subjected to torturous methods, including being thrown on the ground by ruthless farmers, electrically prodded and shocked, day-old calves being separated from their mothers, and being skinned alive while still conscious. Your health will improve without meat in your diet. Vegetarians are 50% less likely to develop heart disease and 40% less likely to have cancer than meat eaters. Those who eat meat are 9 times more likely to be obese. Vegetarians live 6 to 10 years longer than meat eaters on average. In addition, vegetarians are less susceptible to contagious diseases, such as the flu, and have virtually no risk of contracting diseases related to the consumption of animals. As a vegetarian, you can also help the environment. Harvard nutritionist Jean Mayer estimates that if the United States cuts its meat consumption by 10%, enough grain to feed 60 million people would be generated. According to Environmental Defense, if every American substituted 1 meal of vegetarian food for chicken per week, the carbon dioxide savings would be the same as taking 500,000 cars off the road. Being vegetarian is a choice that may seem difficult, but in reality, it is quite simple. A 2009 poll by the Vegetarian Resource Group indicated that about 3.4% of the adult population of America is vegetarian, more than 12 million vegetarians. These include old favorites Abraham Lincoln and Emily Dickinson, as well as new pop stars Avril Lavigne, Pink, and Benji and Joel Madden of Good Charlotte. If these people can do it, so can you. Vegetarianism is not only doable, but it has also been made easy in this day and age. Supermarkets everywhere sell alternatives to meat. Many vegetarian cookbooks provide easy recipes for delicious foods. Vegan and vegetarian restaurants are springing up everywhere, as the world becomes more conscious of what exactly it is eating. In fact, the city of Ghent, Belgium has set aside a weekly Veggie Day in which residents are encouraged to avoid eating meat. School children are provided vegetarian meals, and most government officials go vegetarian every Thursday. Other European cities, such as London, and countries like Germany, are following Ghent's initiatives. However, just as influential as cities and nations in the fight for vegetarianism are individuals. Whether you make the switch for the animals, for yourself, or for the environment, the benefits of doing so will exceed whatever difficulty you may have. We should all do our best to follow in the footsteps of Albert Einstein and reduce, if not eliminate, our consumption of meat. Thank you. So this speech that I just presented, I actually had one girl come up to me after I gave it at a competition and told me that the time that she had seen me before, she and about 6 or 7 of her friends were watching, and after hearing that, they couldn't eat meat for a week because they were so, every time she thought about it, she would just think about all the animals and all the bad things that were happening as a result of it. And I did a lot of research into making that speech, and I hope that with other people seeing it, it'll influence them as well, because I know that being vegetarian has been a great choice that I made on my own.